Hello everyone, I'm going to do a book review today, and yes, I am tired because I'm doing this late the fuck at night. Uh, okay, I've tried to get this out like 5, 6 times, and I'm pretty sure I haven't posted it yet. I'm going to double check after I'm done with this, but I've got this book here. I've recorded this like 18 times roughly. Um, Hopefully this will be my last. I have gotten to the second chapter of the shitty, shitty book, and if you want to read it, don't. Don't fucking read this book. Support your local bookstores, though. Like, I can't tell you how much I love, or, well, hate to read, but I love picking up new books because I have quite a few. Quite a few good books. And I want to get this one over with as quickly as possible. I'm only in the second chapter. I know, shock. I read slow and I even listen slow. I have notes. I'm going to open up my notes. I have a few things that I want to comment on. Let me just flip to page 1 of my notes. It didn't really take me long to note a lot of shit, so you'd stay with me for a second. Um, I don't really have an argument for a lot of the shit he says, because he's right. Oh, we shouldn't celebrate Christopher Columbus Day. He helped the founding of America. I don't really care. There are atrocities in the past. Yes, we have to accept that. But you have to move in despite of them, not because of them or any other. Yeah, in spite of them. You know, if you're like watching this video expecting me to go in depth on this shitty piece of crap book, A People's History of the United States, you're not gonna get that. You're gonna get my usual brand of I'm tired of this shit. Anyways, he starts off with talking about how Christopher Columbus like did all this horrible, horrible shit. I agree with him. Um, I've gotten no real arguments for a while there. He does point out his own fucking biases. Give me a second. I gotta flip to the page and read the exact quote because I don't want to be, I don't want to be misquoting him now. I think it's page 8. Give me a second. But he's talking about the sailor. Sailor who's writing a book about sailing and the history of sailing. Uh, and he's dead wrong. He's like, you can. I believe the quote goes. I'm gonna keep looking until I find it. Ah, there it is. Page 8. Yeah. How the fuck did I miss it? One can outline. God damn it. Out. One can lie outright about the past, or one can omit facts which might lead to unacceptable conclusions. Now, if he's talking about omitting facts for brevity's sake, I agree with him. You can do that. Now, if he's that's not what the quote's about, but I'm getting there. Give me a second. I take a while to get ideas out. Um, what he's saying in that line is basically it's okay to lie. It's okay to misrepresent the past. You know who also does that? I'm just saying. I'm just gonna say it. Don't throw hate my way just because I say it. The fucking Nazis. I'm not saying he's a Nazi. I'm just saying he's using the same techniques as Nazis and as other evil, evil people. Now, I'm not saying he's, evil within himself. Also, that's page 8 of chapter 1 if you're interested in picking up this book, which you shouldn't. It physically makes me ill to read a chapter. But since I started using the tabs, actually, fuck it. I'll just do the first half of the second chapter too, because I don't have many problems with much of the rest of what he says, because he's right. He's just talking about shit from a perspective that he has, and he says that somewhere. But he's also speaking on historical things which happened, and I don't have a problem with that. No, go ahead. Full. Trying to find anything else that I marked. Let me check my actual notes. 18 quote mines. That's another problem I had. He uses quotes not as they're intended. So an intended quote is supposed to be very short, get to the point, to support your evidence and shit. So it's not only me who thinks this way, it's these people, and use their quotes. Now that usually works. Now I'm going to get to the first half of the second chapter because I haven't finished it yet. It's, again, they're very short chapters. I don't know why I haven't got around to it. Probably the brain frying thing. Another quote mine, that is 19. First page of chapter 2. I don't see anything. Oh, yeah, here's the line. Is it possible for whites and blacks to live together without hatred? Now, he continues, in a historical context, you cannot do that. Like, you cannot go into a historical context and be like, well, maybe if these things had changed, because that's speculation, and nobody likes speculation. I don't disagree with him a lot on that. 22, 23, 12. Okay. Just making sure I wasn't turning 2 pages at once. And 24 brings up the total to... Wait. 21 quotes. And there's nothing really wrong. Again, a lot of these pages have got a lot of little shit, like quote mines. A lot of quote mines. I've used up a lot of yellow tabs and a lot of my yellow highlighter because he loves to use quote mines. And I'm not saying that, that's a bad thing. I'm just saying quote mines suck ass. Just use a short quote. Now, some of them are necessary. I think... how many did I think were necessary? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to say 6, just to be safe. And little short quotes are not what I'm counting here. I'm not being like, oh, he's using a quote mine when he's using like 2 sentences. No, I mean like paragraphs upon paragraphs. Which makes the book very hard because I hate quote mines with a fucking passion. They're annoying, they're stupid. He talks about the destruction of societies. I don't disagree a lot with that. More fucking quote mines. Here's page 28 is another piece of proof. African slavery is handled... I'm not even going to try to read it, but it's basically bullshit. He gives the Africans the benefit of the doubt, which he ignores and harshly judges other people for not having. So it's like, oh, it's fine if the Africans own slaves because the way they did it. But slavery should not be a thing allowed at all. Anything called slavery should not be allowed. I'm against that vehemently. Let's get to the end. I'm going to try to speed through the rest of this. More fucking quote mines. He doesn't really claim anything so wrong, as far as I've been, and I've only gotten to the 32nd page. Nothing that's so wrong that it makes me go, fuck you, a lot of the time. Except for the thing where he just ignores slavery being a bad thing. Where he's like, oh, African slavery was fine because they were, like, brought into their families. How about you, like, dissect all slavery and make a tier list? Because nobody's gonna fucking view it. You piece of shit. I cannot support anybody who would support slavery. I do not support slavery. I support the freedoms of all people. And our founding fathers weren't idiots by any means, and I'll get to them in a bit. I haven't got to the part where he mentions them because it's all about slavery. Just skip over, the independence of America, which a lot of fucked up shit happened during, and you could have pointed it out and been like, hey, that wasn't acceptable. And that would have been fucking great. I would have loved this book more if you would have, instead of the second chapter being the color line, make that like the third or fourth. Just put that a chapter behind and put a chapter in, and it would be pretty damn long because. So you might have to divide it into like 2.5. But you could do it very easily. And you talk about how the founding fathers designed this country. Oh, but you want to lead people down the path of socialism. I literally have so much. If I were to dissect this book in full and like spend an entire year doing that until I went mad and became a hermit, eventually eating the brains out of young innocent children, I might be able to find a couple things more wrong with this book and a couple more pieces of evidence to prove how fucking communist he is. He's not only a communist, which, okay, I'm willing to talk to communists, but I'm not willing to support their ideal points because their ideal points are, get oppressed by your government, come on, it's fun, everyone's doing it. And I'm just not down for that, yo. So, I ain't got nothing against Mark himself, man. Or, sorry, Howard. Whatever the fuck his name is. I'm calling him Mark from now. But no, I just find it stupid how he just washes over the fucked up shit that happened during the Revolutionary War. The amount of times that we set, guess what? We set people to go up against each other who are of the same race. Holy shit, we're evil. I know, we're corrupting. No, we're not. And you want my evidence for that? Human nature is to destroy. The first thing built by a human, I'm not sure about this 100%, isn't shelter. It's a fucking spear. It's one of the reasons spears are the most natural weapons to use. A person new to using a spear can defeat not a pro swordsman, but somebody who's decent at using a sword, because it's more natural. A sword is a short, pokey thing that I want the thing that's close to me to die. A spear is I want the thing over there to fucking die, so I'm gonna put a knife on the end of a stick and stab it. Anyways, but he doesn't go over a lot of shit, which would support his point a little bit better. And wouldn't turn my point of view at all, but if he went over those things and talked about the shit that's most commonly talked about, like, I don't know, the Revolutionary War, the fucked up shit that happened during the Civil War, and he actually covered those topics and covered what he wants to cover, I'm pretty sure he could do it more effectively and with fewer words, more concisely. I think this book is a waste of fucking space and a waste of time, but I'm going to continue reading it until my brain fucking explodes from an aneurysm of anger at his stupidity. Now, I'm not going to go right away to, marking it up unless I'm not tired and tiredness doesn't set in which case I will, but I will get to this book and I will finish the second chapter and third. So I'm going to do it in blocks of 1.5 each and every time. Anyways, Thank you so much for listening. Like, subscribe, throw a Molotov at yourself if you are thinking of harming other people because you are human scum. And remember, just think freely. Research. Do it. I know it sucks, but you have to. Otherwise, you become a mindless sheep person. You don't want that. Your party shouldn't determine your politics. You should. If your party is determining it, guess what? It gets into the fascist side of things. And I say fascist as in anybody who wants to fucking kill you by oppressing you, not as in Nazis. Anyways, thank you, good night, and goodbye. For now. I mean, I'll probably have another video out soon. I mean, this one's going up, like, right away, because I'm fucking lazy. I'm just gonna title it the title of the book, Review. Anyways, good night.